What can I say about Titanfall 2 that hasn't already been said?
The gameplay is solid and dynamic? Check.
The sandbox and level design are well chosen and diverse? Check.
Ronin is overpowered as...
Screw you, Ronin isn't overpowered. Sincerely, a Ronin main.
You're absolutely right. North Star is the true meta.
Man, this game really deserves a sequel? Check. Look, if you know anything about Titanfall 2, you know about the endless belly aching the players indulge in. And, I mean, not without reason. Titanfall 2 was released in 2016, which we know with the power of Captain Hindsight was a terrible time to release a shooter video game. I mean, one with a relatively new IP. I mean, just imagine that you're Titanfall 2 competing for the next Shooter of the Year dub. When in walks none other than Battlefield 1, shoulder to shoulder with Overwatch? And just when you thought the show could finally focus on you, which was like months later, in walks Doom, back from the dead. And you know, Call of Duty was there too, but we don't talk about 2016 Call of Duty. And with so many other shooters to enjoy full of big names like Blizzard Entertainment and the Battlefield franchise and, you know, freaking Doom. The point is, Titanfall 2 didn't get the credit it deserved or the chance because it was overshadowed by a bunch of other great games. It's a shame, or more accurately, a tragedy. But enough about the tragedy of Titanfall 2. Doubtless you've watched a bunch of other videos on the topic if you're watching this video. Because even though this game was ignored, DDoSed, mismanaged, neglected, demeaned, and underappreciated, this game is straight fire. Not just the gameplay and multiplayer, but also the single player campaign, which is the topic of today's video. Once upon a time, in a PC gaming platform not far from you, Titanfall 2 was $2.99. I just want to say that all of you who knew this sale existed and didn't get it are a disgrace to your bloodlines. An innocent YouTuber picked the game up because he almost had $3 remaining in his Steam wallet, and at the behest of a friend, booted it up and started playing. I gotta say, the single-player Titanfall 2 story didn't grip me right away. The campaign starts with a certain, obviously spoilers, duh, Jack Cooper, a rifleman enlisted by the militia. They are the good guys. The IMC, or Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation, are the bad guys. The IMC wants to claim the frontier, a group of mostly unexplored planets, hence the name, because that's what bad guys do. And the militia doesn't want that because they have partly colonized it and live happily on the world of harmony. This is honestly a pretty good setup as far as storytelling is concerned, and Jack Cooper is a pretty relatable video game protagonist. Anyway, you're receiving off-the-books training by Captain Ty Lastimosa, true blue, real deal, up and down guardian of the last city. Sorry, I meant pilot. Anyway, so you go to the planet Typhon, not the Star Wars Typhon, the EA Respawn Typhon. And since EA and Respawn now make Star Wars video games, that's going to be even more confusing. The purpose of this trip is to rout an IMC attack force, but a group of mercenaries called the Apex Predators turn the tide of battle against you. Ty and his Titan, the most likable robot in all of video game storytelling. Oh, I'm sorry, what's that? Yeah, apparently BT stands for Buddy Titan. Yeah, and if this knowledge pisses you off, know that it also did the Respawn devs. Arrive just in the nick of time and save your chops, but the route is a failure and the militia forces are dispersed. You overhear a few of the mercenaries talking about the arc you black out as they walk away. When you come to, you're about to be snack time for a few roaming aliens, but BT is quick on the trigger and saves your life yet again. We should get a counter in here or something, because he saves your life a lot in this campaign. Anyway, it's revealed that Captain Lastimosa has sustained serious injuries during the battle and is now dying, so he transfers his Titan's neural link to the player character. You take Ty's jump kit, you shoot some stuff, you grab some batteries, and eventually you get back on the road with BT to get back to the mission that you were initially sent out for. The initial setup was evenly paced, but if you're getting the feeling that the initial segment with Ty's death is a little rushed, then yeah, you're right, it is a little rushed. Captain Lastimosa's death didn't hit home as much as it should because we didn't have a lot of time to bond with this character. We need to go on at least a few missions and witness Captain Lastimosa's character before he just gets killed off. Otherwise, like, it has no meaning to us. Anyway, you head off to find some bloke named Major Anderson because that was BT's last directive and by consequence, your new mission. On your way, you run on some walls, you shoot some bad guys, and take out 2 of the mercenaries and the Apex Predators. So yeah, some fun Titanfall 2 stuff. I would just like to note that the campaign is a good introduction for casual players into PvP. It's a tamer, easier experience that acquaints players with platforming, movement, sandboxes, and Titan combat. In my eyes, that's exactly what a good shooter campaign should try to do, along with delivering a good and consistent story, of course. Anyway, after a bunch of shenanigans involving a Thunderdome and a claw arm of all things, you finally make it to the IMC laboratory that was Major Anderson's last known location. Cooper finds Anderson stuck in the floor and grabs his time travel gauntlet. Wait, What? Time travel gauntlet? I guess that's a thing now. Which BT modifies so Cooper can travel between the past and present. Using the gauntlet, Cooper finds that the arc mentioned earlier in the story is basically the battery to the IMC's new super weapon, the Death Star. Okay, sorry, it's called the Fold Weapon. Yeah, fam, I don't know. I just think the Death Star sounds cooler. Long story short, they're gonna use it to destroy the entire planet of Harmony. Wait, it destroys planets? Doesn't this make it the Death Star then? And of course we can't have that, so Cooper and BT travel to find the Ark, where we do some more shenanigans with satellite arrays and pilot throwing and other gameplay segments you'll find in the shooter campaign. And then a bunch of other stuff happens, like BT saving you and BT almost dying, and you know, you generally being a cool Titanfall pilot guy. Look, this is in essence a very simple story structure. The good guys need to keep a certain MacGuffin out of enemy hands or they're screwed. That's simple as it gets. That's essentially the plot for Titanfall 2, and it works for what it is. Just because a plot is simple does not necessarily mean that it's bad. Complex plots have more potential to be good, as in like better than the norm. Simple, uncomplicated stories have their place in storytelling as well. So the bad guys take the Ark and fly away on the IMS Draconis, and Cooper and the rest of the militia pursue, because of course we can't have the IMC blowing up planets. You take out another mercenary and retrieve the Ark, but not before the ship goes down and Cooper and BT are captured. Blisk, the leader of the Apex Predators, threatens to kill you, and BT coughs up the Ark and yet again saves you from death. Now there's a plot hole here where Sloan, who's another merc, just beats up BT and leaves Cooper for dead. That's the classic, I'm not gonna kill you, I'm just gonna beat you up and leave you for dead. Which is what I just said. It's a really common villain cliche, and honestly, if villains were more competent, then a lot more heroes in bad stories with plot holes like this would be dead. I'm not saying that Titanfall 2 is a bad story, just this is a plot hole. It just is. But it's near the end of the story anyway, and these mercs aren't known for doing what they're not being paid to do. They were paid to retrieve the Ark, not kill Cooper, and they basically killed BT, so whatever. Anyway, you managed to get away with BT's data core, which you slot into another Titan chassis, and voila, everything's back on track, right? I guess you could say that, but now the IMC have installed the Ark into the Fold Weapon, and now they're going to blow up Harmony. Like, that was the whole point of this campaign, guys. You fight your way out of the IMC base, but you're too late. The Fold Weapon is already prepped to fire. Looks like Harmony's screwed, boys. The only way to stop it is for BT to launch himself into the Ark and destroy it, throwing you to safety at the last minute.
Protocol 3, protect the pilot.
BT, what are you doing?
Trust me.
BT!
So, what do I think of this story? Well, let's get the non-narrative things out of the way first. The campaign plays really well, even 7 years later. The advanced movement and sandbox, coupled with amazing level design, really reinforced the feeling of being a mega fast, advanced super soldier. Now for the narrative. Titanfall 2, in spite of small flaws, is a great story. The question is why? Titanfall 2 is good for two reasons: under-promising and over-delivering. Too many games fall into the trap of promising the world and then being really mediocre. Halo 5's story promised to be one of intrigue and morally gray conflicts with complex characters and deep characterization. What we got was exactly 0% of that. We were granted the most shallow, garbage story that we've ever experienced in the history of Halo, a game series that has historically had good writing. Titanfall 2's campaign was the first the series ever had, and hopefully not the last, although it's looking like that. It didn't promise to deliver a high-octane adventure with characters that are ridiculously likable. It didn't promise to be incredibly deep or meaningful, and the beautiful thing about it was those things. Titanfall 2 is a story about two friends, Cooper and BT. Cooper is supposed to be you, and BT is in turn supposed to be your friend. But he's not a friend in the same way as R2-D2, BD1, or Wall-E. He's not a servant, he's not a protector. BT is written to be your equal, a character that you depend on and who depends on you. Throughout the campaign, you save each other's lives several times, but rarely thank each other. That is the nature of friends. They have a sort of mutual agreement between them that dictates that they'll help each other out without cost or obligation. You put your life on the line for BT, and BT does the same for you. But for BT, there's one subtle difference. Throughout the campaign, there's a phenomenon referenced several times called Protocol 3. This refers to the 3 protocols Titans must follow. 1. Link to the pilot. 2. Uphold the mission. 3. Protect the pilot. Protocol 3 is the principle of Titanfall 2's story. The Titan and the pilot are presented as inseparable friends who repeatedly sacrifice for each other. Ironically, Protocol 3 isn't just a Titan protocol, but one that you must follow as well. Not Protocol 3, protect the pilot. I mean, what if it was Protocol 3, protect the Titan? It's almost like BT's protocols are your own, and in that sense, you are BT just as much as you're Jack Cooper. Titanfall 2 is as much a story about planet-destroying megacorporations with massive superweapons, mech battles and gunfights, and epic flight chase sequences as it is a story about two friends and their bond forged in the fiery smithy of war. And that is what the Titanfall 2 story is about. And if I'm honest, it's really good. It harkens back to the earlier era of Call of Duty campaigns, back when there was a concern for shooter games to actually have a story. In a world dominated by free-to-play battle royales with battle passes, paid cosmetics, and in-game lore that no one cared to read about with absolutely no playable campaign, I welcome a solid campaign with great gameplay and a story about a pilot and a Titan. But anyway guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please remember to help me out by dropping a like and a comment in the comment section down below. And if you like what you see and you like to see more of what you like to see, then smash that subscribe button and turn notifications on so that you don't miss another video like this one. But in any case, I remain Van Galta, and I'll see you in the next video.